You're listening to Tehachapod with Key Budge, Corey Costello, and Greg Garrett.
Well, it's Tehachapod time again. Key Budge, Corey Costello, and Greg Garrett join me. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing good, Key. Thank you.
I like that term, Tehachapod time. Put that on a T-shirt or something.
There we go. We got merch.
That's right.
We got merch.
It's all about merchandising. It's all about
hats
merchandising.
and T-shirts on the way. I don't know anybody who would buy them though. I mean, honestly,
the three of us,
and our wives.
Yeah, we'd be the dorks that wear our own merch.
Our ugly mugs and our wives make us look good. And I don't know.
Is there a rule against that? Like when you go to a concert, you're not supposed to wear the band T-shirt you're going to the concert for, right? That's like an unwritten rule,
right?
So can you wear your own podcast?
Well, that's
T-shirt?
because when you go to the concert, they want you to buy the $100 T-shirt,
right? Exactly.
Right. If you see a professional athlete and they're not in uniform, they're not wearing their ball cap, you know, or promoting their team. It's always something else. Probably a sponsor.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, sponsor. Exactly.
I always wear a city hat everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tehachapi. And people always ask me, where do you get it? As a matter of fact, Farmers Market starting this Thursday, tomorrow. We're recording Wednesday, but starting tomorrow is our first farmers market, and we will be selling Tehachapi attire. So we have T-shirts, actually, on a serious note. We have hats and different
hoodies,
things. Hoodies.
It's warm, but...
License plate frames. People are asking us all the time. We want Tehachapi gear. So we're going to produce that, and we're going to break even, as long as we get our money back, and we're really super excited about it.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I've had family come over, and they say, hey, where do you get the Tehachapi tourist stuff? Mm-hmm. And I think Save Mart or someone used to have like like Tehachapi Warrior kind of promotional stuff. But
some
that
of the
was
shops
seasonal.
downtown will put in an artsy T-shirt or something. But yeah, we don't have that like souvenir.
Like
shop.
sounds like Mammoth or something.
Yeah. Sounds like an opportunity to me, right?
Right,
absolutely.
Little souvenir shop that's just everything Tehachapi.
That's it. Well, we are talking about everything Tehachapi today. And we're going to talk about all the things that are coming up, because all of a sudden, real quick, as we hit June, things warm up and we start having conversations. We know that June 15th is this magical date the governor has put out in front of us that life can become more back to normal. June 15th, I've got it circled on the calendar.
Yeah. Right. We could talk about the science behind it, but I think for today's show, let's talk about what we're going to do on the 15th, right? We're going to have a Tehachapi grand reopening ceremony.
That's going to be, I think, is going to be kind of neat. Yeah. It's important for a lot of our local small businesses that have struggled over the last 15 months.
Yeah.
They need a rebirth. They need to let everyone know, hey, there's no restrictions. They have been lifted. They're for these large venues, 5,000 plus people, for restrictions to be in place. This means they can go back to business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can take your stickers off the floor. You can take your plexiglass off the register. I mean, because that's the big thing. A lot of these people have been open for a while, but June 15th per the state says, okay, these restrictions go away. So if you feel comfortable in doing so, you can kind of go back to normal in your business. So that's kind of what we're targeting with this is, we'll have a little speech and, the mayor might say a few words and that kind of stuff, but thanking everybody for their resilience. And I think that we really did learn a lot about the resilience of the small business community in this town and also the residents that supported them during the pandemic, but also just a chance to celebrate getting through it and getting back to life before, March of 2020, essentially.
Super proud of our town and our entire community for sticking through this whole COVID-19 pandemic like we did with the recession. And we're coming out the other end a little stronger, a little smarter, and we're going to host the symbolic grand reopening. So it's going to be downtown Tehachapi on Green Street, 8:30 in the morning. Please join us. We don't care if you don't live in the city, if you don't have a business in the city. We are doing a symbolic grand reopening ribbon cutting for all of Tehachapi. So please join us.
Yeah, that's important. This is inclusive. We're all in this together. We have been, and we want to include everyone out there in Golden Hills, all those businesses along the 202. Yes, you are welcome to join us on Green Street. Bring a small little sign that says your business name. We'll give you a ribbon. Bring the scissors.
Take a photo for you and everything.
We have a bunch of ribbons, right? We're going to pass them out, right?
Yes.
That's going to be so cool.
And the other part too, we partner with a couple groups that represent the city and everywhere else. The Greater Tehachapi Chamber of Commerce and the Greater Tehachapi Economic Development Council will all be on hand in helping promote and be a part of this event. And so all their members and that kind of stuff are invited to come and take board members, or whether it's your business owners that are working with them, come out, we'll give you a ribbon, and we'll take a bunch of photos. It'll be fun.
And when you guys were out at the EDC, here meeting this week, and you pitched this idea of what we had going. What was the response like?
Oh, overwhelming. Almost, just giddy. Everybody in the audience, the board members were, heck yeah, what a great idea. Count us in, we'll be there. So, hopefully we'll have more people than we planned for. We're going to close the street for, a little bit. It's just going to be so exciting. We're going to have TCT, Tehachapi Community Theater. Their actors are going to be out there. Just come out and celebrate with us for just a couple moments and then get back to work.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Doug Jockinson over TCT, and they were super excited. Yeah. They talked about it at rehearsal because they're getting ready for Nonsense, their next theatrical, a play that they're going to put together. And they said, the timing is perfect, but everyone was like, yes, we want to be involved. Right. And they're going to come out. They're going to be dressed in costume, and they're going to promote their next upcoming event, and they're all about it. And they'll be standing in front of the BK, and they're going to cut the ribbon.
That makes me think of something. If somebody has a business, come out and bring coupons or different things. Yes. If you want to pass something out and let everybody know you're having a sale, or, if you spend $100, you get $10 off, or, whatever it is, come on out, man. We are embracing this, and we want people to participate in any way that they feel that would benefit their business locally in the Tehachapi area.
I'm super happy and just proud of the team's efforts during all this, because I think it's forced us to think differently. When we've come up with things like small business loyalty program, grand reopening, stuff we never thought about doing, but COVID forced our hand, or, the way we dealt with outdoor dining at the time, and, adding umbrellas to downtown to make sure everybody had people, places to eat when they were eating outside. And, now that they can eat outside, we still put the umbrellas. They're all back up downtown, again for the summer. So just it really forced us the last 18 months or so to think differently. And I think we came up with some pretty darn good ideas to help the community, to help the business community specifically. And then the people in turn responded by responding to those programs and items and supporting local business.
Well, and it even furthered with the farmers market. You and Mariana got down and started talking about, in past there's been outside food vendors that would come on. It's like, hey, let's promote the walking distance eateries and let them put their own specials together for Farmers Market Day, and make sure that we get people to buy their fresh produce and whatever crafts things, the essentials they've got there at the farmers market vendors, and then head over to Kelsey's or to Casaguri or wherever the restaurant is that's in walking distance, and support that Tehachapi business.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity to do that. And we know a couple have responded. I know Kelsey's is going to have they're hard to miss on Farmers Market Day because they start grilling tri-tip in the back, and
you can smell it, right?
Yeah. And they're right on the alley. It's a perfect location, and head over there. They're going to have a special throughout the Farmers Market, and more restaurants will certainly come on board. And we've opened up the space in front of, like, for example, Las Palmas. They'd always kind of been closed off. Vendors on the street would block, because the parking spaces weren't being used anyway, but the vendors would kind of block the front entrance for the most part. Well, Mariana figured out a way to basically move the vendors so, like, Las Palmas has a clear path. They could set up tables if they wanted to outside. And that way it's more welcoming and inviting to some of those businesses that have the street in front of them closed, but now there's going to be an actual sort of path to travel, and it'd be clearly marked that, hey, they're open, and that's a great audience.
Well, I think Candy at the flower shop is going to do the same. She relocated from F Street over to Green Street, and she's going to do the same, open and selling fresh flowers. So really the participation level is grand. And on Tuesday we have a couple other things happening also. So Corey and I will be attending the first in-person Chamber of Commerce meeting at Big Papa's noon, and presenting some city data about economic development and what we've been working on over the last several months. So if you want to call Ida at the Chamber of Commerce, you could potentially reserve a space for that. It's a luncheon meeting, and I'm really excited about getting back and talking to people in person about what we've been doing, actually seeing people's eyes and their reactions about what's going on in and around our town.
And then later on that day, there's also another event in the evening time.
Yeah, it's a full day now. It kind of evolved into this naturally, which is great.
Tehachapi knows how to put on a party, right? But it's not just a party. It's these events that we host are important. They're networking. We're talking to each other about how we can help each other. We're moving forward in a positive manner. That's part of what makes Tehachapi so special.
Yeah, so the GTEDC that evening from about 5 to 7, We're going to have a little event for investors and potential investors at Freedom Plaza / the Visitor Center, and some light food and some wine from our local wine growers, and just sort of a networking opportunity, kind of a welcome back sort of event as well. We talked about this at the very beginning of COVID-19, thinking about having a big, let's have a big party when this is all over, and then this thing really stretched out longer than anybody would have liked. But I think this is like a better, this was a sort of organic happening of these events and all coming together on one day. And I think this is perfect in terms of marking the occasion, so to speak, and marking the fact that business can reopen without restrictions and you can go back to life as normal. So I think not a big party, but hey, it's 3 really cool events.
It's time to get together and support each other and celebrate our success of living through this COVID-19 pandemic, right? Economically.
Yeah. Well, within minutes of putting out a little social media about this grand reopening event, I started getting contact because I asked for the businesses to RSVP through me so we can kind of have an idea, make sure we have enough ribbons for all the businesses. But Lucky's barbershop, immediately was like, we're in. What do we need to bring? What do we need to do? We're in. Thank you. So that was like, yeah. And then the Loop newspaper was like, yeah, we're in. Mm-hmm. We're going to be there. And then of course TCT did, and we know South Street's going to be there, with the chamber support, EDC, and we're going to have a photographer take pictures of our little businesses that come out to do the ceremonial ribbon cutting, and we'll promote that on our social media. So we'll even try and give you another little bump. We've invited the news media to come out and cover this event because we believe it's newsworthy.
It is newsworthy.
The June 15th now has a real meaning. We are opening without restrictions. Let's promote Tehachapi's open for business all the way.
And I would encourage other cities and communities to do the same. Just don't hold back. Just go for it. Get it, open up and move forward.
And I think you could even take that, cut ribbon and that photo, and you maybe in your business have that. Yeah, you have that original ribbon cutting photo from the chamber when you opened, and maybe right next to it you put this thing, and then you have a story to tell and a conversation piece. This was our reopening after we got through probably one of the most challenging economic times in the history of a lot of these businesses.
For sure.
Excellent.
And Corey Torres, the general manager of the Recreation and Parks District, he announced this morning that the pool will be open. Dinetatorium is opening on June 7. So maybe he'll have a little ribbon cutting. I mean, we could get something going here. It's all about, taking care of our citizens, this region, and making sure that we're moving forward in a positive manner. So super excited. The pool is opening on 7 June.
I'll definitely reach out to Corey directly. Well, Corey listens to the podcast. So Corey, this
Corey.
is for you right now.
We do have someone that listens. Okay.
Corey, we want to make sure that you're out here because you had to close all of your facilities down during COVID. You're able to reopen.
Yeah.
So we anticipate you being here, you and Ashley, your team, and let's cut that ribbon for TVRPD on June 15th.
I had to pop in their office today for something, and man, now they had a whole year of nothing because they couldn't have any of their programs. Man, they're busier than popcorn in a microwave right now. They got so much happening because everything's ramping back up. T-ball and coach pitch baseball has been happening, and that's actually slowing down, but now the summer stuff opens. The pool, swim classes, water aerobics, and then you go into summer camps, and so they're getting ready for next year. So they got a lot happening.
Behind the scenes, they've been working hard for the last several months. And, I know they're looking for employees, too. If you're looking for a part-time job, lifeguard, recreation supervisor for their summer camp, different things like that. So if you're a listener and you know somebody that needs a little part-time job for the summer, please go to the Parks District and seek that out.
And Corey and TVRPD have been big supporter and partner with our blood drives we've been doing with Houchin over the last year. So even though they couldn't open up the facilities for recreational events, they were able to help partner with us in, helping save lives. So, big thanks to entire TVRPD crew because Bill's been out to help unlock bathrooms. Ashley has, and Corey. So the entire team there has worked very well with Houchin and us here at the city to help the community. So I want to give that little shout out because I don't think I've done that, mentioned that in the past. But
and then the past Memorial Day ceremony on Monday, it was amazing. The parade that the American Legion put on, and then all of the people that went to the park and honored our veterans. It was very, very special. Super well choreographed. So thank you to everybody that was involved with that.
Yeah, Dean did a great job with the American Legion in putting that together, and they have in the past. But I this is the first time I get a chance to talk to the coordinator in Dean Peterson, and Dean, you and your entire team there at Post 221, phenomenal job,
Superstars.
And we've got their color guard scheduled to do a similar flag raising on the 4th of July as well as part of our festival. Potentially, their 21 gun salute as well. So all that's going to happen, and they're going to join and do it again. They did such a good job on Memorial Day.
We have a lot going on the 4th of July weekend, and specifically on the 4th. And Corey, why don't you remind us a little bit about what's happening at the park?
Yeah, so that's our normal All-American 4th of July festival. We mentioned TVRPD. They're going to have the All-American 5K starting things off about 7:30. It's kind of a rolling start. You can roll in and start way early. You can kind of come in up until like 9 o'clock in the morning and start your run.
Rolling? What? Roll or
rolling?
Roll? What?
Well,
do you roll or do you run?
Whenever you get there,
Bada bing.
yeah, I've got a rim shot here.
That was like, you might want to edit that out. I don't know, Keith.
That's happening, and then we've got the pancake breakfast that's put on by the Tehachapi Warrior football team and the Warrior Booster Club. Tickets are available for that if you want to buy them in advance, but they're only $5, and it's a charitable donation. So that's happening right after till about 11, and then we kind of shift things at the park, and a lot of our other food vendors open up. We've got about 5 coming in. We've also got a simple hamburger hot dog booth set up by the boosters / the Tehachapi soccer program. The Warrior soccer program is going to be doing that too. And then entertainment will start as well. Beer garden by the Tehachapi Valley Wrestling Club, and then we've got a young man named Ryan Silliphant playing at kind of early on. We've got another young group out of that play at the Coffee Mill along with Ryan. They're going to be there. And then probably about 2 p.m. or so, our sort of headliner for the music act is Mule Skinner Revival, and their local band plays quite heavily. Very good Americana music, perfect fitting for the day. A lot of fun. So they're going to be doing that. So we kind of changed the entertainment lineup a little bit, but I think people will enjoy it. Nice, and then we got the flag raising ceremony. That's at noon, actually. So that's kind of right before we get a lot of the music and food kicked off. We do have the flag raising ceremony.
Christina Scrivener, Councilmember Scrivener, will be singing the national anthem, and she belts that out. If you've never heard her, it'll bring a tear to your eye. Yeah. She does an amazing job. Yeah, the national anthem.
And Mayor Smith will give a few remarks, and we'll raise the flag, and then we'll have kind of the festivities really officially open at that point, and that'll go till about 4 o'clock, and then that'll be it for sort of our festivities at that point. And then there is the Bad Bulls event, the bull riding out there at the rodeo arena by TMRA. They're excited to be back as well. And then 9 o'clock, we'll have our fireworks display. Got the official count is 1,007 shells this year, so it's quite a large show. Once again, 18 minutes long. It's going to have some length to it, and I think folks will really enjoy it.
I literally think we have one of the best shows, if not the best show in Kern County. Yeah. It is quite amazing.
Yeah, and the stuff that they got to, I mean, they send me like an inventory list of what we got some cool stuff. I mean, we're not just talking about something that goes up and makes one flash, like color changing and swirl stuff. I mean, it's really cool what it's going to be, what has been purchased for this show. So the quality of shells is really up there this year.
Very cool. Can't wait.
Are we going to see a Corey Costello bull riding appearance?
Yeah, that I'm officially retired, forever retired. Every time and we'll get Dal Bunn on the show at some point. Every time I see him, he's always trying to scheme something else. And
Corey's still trying to do a workers' comp claim over out of the city, but I keep denying it.
I still haven't got the cobwebs out of my head from the last time I got my bell rung. I'm good. I'm one and done. You go out on top. So.
But all of this,
or on your back like I did. Yeah. Either way, you go out.
I remember that day clearly. He looked at me like, "Who are you?"
You remember that day clearly. I don't.
I actually have photos to prove it too. I'm like, "Oh, dude, you don't even know what you just did."
Oh yeah, and I try to explain that to people as to why, especially Dal, who always has something. Then try to make me ride a bucking horse during the.
Well, Dal tried to get me to do it.
No.
Yeah, Dal tried to get me to do it. I have known Dal for decades, and I'm like, whatever. And then Corey walks by, and I'm like, okay, there you go.
Gullible idiot. Here, this guy.
But we talk about these celebrations, whether it's the grand reopening or the July 4th. They have meaning, but we also work on economic development in this town because the dollar has to change hands, right? You need to employ people. Things need to be healthy in our town, in our region, and beyond, right? We've said that a million times. But we have a lot of projects that are in the queue that have been approved by the Tehachapi Planning Commission. One is the Village Collective, Village Co., right downtown, the old Town and Country Market or the St. Vincent de Paul building. The Cummings family is rebuilding that. So that's an amazing project that's taking shape. So if you come to the ribbon cutting, you'll be able to see the wood that's being put up and that whole reconstruction. We're super excited and grateful for that.
Yeah, and then we've really looked into just thinking along projects. I mean, J Street, there's a new commerce center that was approved recently. The Hensler family over there by what was the Henry's Home for Less building, that kind of compound area of all those buildings. They're going to add some more beautiful architecture. It's going to be, if you've got a small business, you've got a medium-sized business, you need some industrial space, some manufacturing space, just kind of open office space, whatever it may be. They've got a great project just got approved by the Planning Commission, they've already got some tenants lined up for it too, which is exciting for them. And it's going to really revitalize that area. It's a nice industrial investment. It's not just, I'm going to build more warehouses and call it good. Like, they're putting a lot of money into this thing, which is awesome. And that's going to be a good opportunity for people who need that space.
Yeah, super appreciative. And if you're looking to start a business, or if you have a business in your home already, maybe in your garage, and you want to expand and put a shingle out, I think the Village Co. or the J Street Commerce Park would be a good opportunity. So you can call Corey here at the city and talk to him about those opportunities, and he'd be happy to share that information with you.
And Village Co. is going to still do a small bit co-working space, which was the original intent for the majority of the building, and it's kind of taken shape. COVID changed a few things, but there is plans still to have to use some of the space on the upper stories for co-working space. So if you have that, and a lot of people working from home now, and they still are. Their companies realize, you know what, we really don't need you in the office. Like, you can do your job at home. But that comes with challenges too, right? And so maybe you want to get out of the office, but you're not going to go to the office because it's out of town and you'd rather stay in Tehachapi. You could have a small membership and utilize kind of an office space at Village Collective. So that'll be an exciting thing to see that take shape for the small independent business owners, for sure.
Very cool.
And we've had so many people move in from out of the area because of the change in the work dynamic. You can live where you want to now and still work, in the big city, but you don't have to be there all the time.
Yeah.
So that provides an opportunity,
yes,
that you can get, solid Wi-Fi, you can get a quiet workspace, whatever it is that you need to get your job done that's maybe you can't do at home.
And you pay for all that in one monthly fee. You don't have to pay for the copy machine and the coffee machine and all that stuff. Like, that's all included in this sort of package that you'd be paying for.
And then if you live here, on the weekends, you can go to award-winning wineries.
Yeah.
Right? Super cool. We have created, all of us collectively, 35,000 people have been working together to get things done. Like Ryan Beecham, he's working on a couple little micro homes.
Micro village.
Micro village,
Lucky's
thank you.
Barbershop.
Behind Lucky's Barbershop. So little small homes, and really excited about that whole concept. And I think there's a market for that. People are going to want to rent or buy those homes. And this is a test for us in the city, but I think he's going to be super successful, and we'll see more of them.
Is this a tiny living kind of a?
It's
you say
not
micro
quite
home.
like,
What is that?
Well, it's called micro village. It's not quite like tiny home like you'd see on TV, where it's essentially a trailer. No, these are just they're a small footprint home, and downstairs is a living area and a small kitchen, and then there's like a bathroom, and then upstairs there's sort of a loft style bedroom. And that's it. So it's a small footprint, and there's two of them. And there's a third that's also being used currently as Ryan's office for his business. And so there's two of them, and they're just going to share communal sort of open space in the middle. And it's a cool concept. It really is. I
these darn millennials, they don't want to mow grass or anything. They just want to live, and they want to go drink coffee at the coffee mill, and they want to go to the wine tasting and kind of hang out. Or if you're retiring, or if you're a working professional and you just put in a lot of hours.
Yeah, you want to enjoy life.
Yeah.
And speaking of, you brought up wine earlier in the wineries, and we learned this morning at the EDC meeting that actually from the Wine Growers Commission, they made the report, there are 4 parcels that have been sold or in escrow out, probably more in the wine area, in the AVA area in Cummings Valley, but they're in escrow from wineries out of the area. Paso Robles and Napa Valley. Ooh. Those wineries have bought. Now, they're probably just using them to grow the grapes and take advantage of our weather.
But the big boys have moved in now. They've taken notice.
Yeah.
Right?
There's an AVA designation here,
Yes.
and that gave value that is being recognized by another AVA designation. Because when you look at those companies, they've got the Paso Robles, and they're also in Napa, and they're in Santa Barbara, and now So that way, when you go into a store like Bevmo and you go to those regions, those ABA designations, they want to have a label present.
Yeah.
So
the more the merrier. Competition is good. And, our region of 4,000 feet, who would have ever guessed, right? We've talked about this many times. The grapes actually get a thicker skin so that there's a richer wine, and they reuse the skins in different winemaking areas, our skins, I mean. And so there's a lot of benefits. So that was super exciting to hear. Yeah. If you ever want to attend the EDC meetings, they're the first Wednesday of every month at the Slice of Life on Valley Boulevard, 7:30 in the morning. It's free to attend, and you can learn a lot about economic development happenings in the Tehachapi region.
Just good networking opportunities too. And even today we had a great it was a presentation, but a partner presentation, the new PIO at CCI, who's been there for a few months, but we haven't seen him because of COVID stuff, gave us great updates on things. And even the news came out that the level 1 yard was going to close eventually. And he even said today, though, we don't know when because they keep sending us inmates for it. So technically it's supposed to close at some point, but we keep getting inmates. So for us, it's just keep on rolling with it, And he talked about the economic impact of that yard and absorbing the jobs elsewhere when it does close. So that's good to hear those kind of updates from these partner agencies.
A lot of really neat things going on. And then the hospital district, Tehachapi Valley Hospital District, they pulled a permit with the city to demolish the old hospital on E Street. So we're excited about that structure being demolished and what will rise from the ashes, right? The hospital district has a lot of really good ideas. So Mike Nixon, he's the president of the hospital board, and they've got some great leadership over there, and we'll see what's kind of rise from the ashes over there. So we're really excited to work with the district.
And when Newalt comes out, Paul Winston's film, we'll know that some of the scenes were shot in there before it got demoed.
And I heard it was haunted. What was that all about?
I don't know. That was a weird angle to the
PR stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Whatever.
But actually, the funny part was, Key and I kind of sent Paul that direction, and when he actually went into the hospital building, and not their office, but actually the hospital building, he literally told me, he said, "Dude, I don't have to do anything. This place is like falling apart. It's perfect." He goes,
Hence the demo.
He said, this is perfect post-apocalyptic setting. Like, we're good. And he literally just lit the place and rolled cameras.
We were so fortunate to have the hospital district holding that thing together with baling wire, and then to have Adventists come in and do what they did. So we're very fortunate. So.
And then mentioning Adventist, we should say that with the blood drives that we've been doing with TVRPD, Adventist is now, we're going to be alternating every month. Instead of the city and TVRPD hosting these events every month, Adventist Health Tehachapi Valley will be hosting in alternate months. So they'll hold one on June 30th out at the hospital, and that will be with Houchin. Houchin will be the basically the center for the drives, but the hospital will be hosting every other month. We will be hosting on the other month, so we will be back in July with a blood drive.
So multiple opportunities to save a life.
Absolutely,
really good stuff. And then Valley Strong, I drive by every day. The new Valley Strong credit union building adjacent to the Walmart area on the Tehachapi Boulevard side, coming along nicely.
Unbelievably nice.
Oh, it's a beautiful facility.
We knew that Valley Strong built nice buildings when they were current schools. They built nice buildings. And actually, I told Jay, our development services director, a few weeks ago, I said, it's rare that these things actually look like the drawing. Because they give us,
they give us better
renderings. Yeah, they give us renderings, and they try to match colors. But then whatever stone is available, this thing is a spitting image of the architecture they gave us, and it's going to really rise the level around there and get that. And then when that whole parking lot will be done, it's gonna be awesome.
And we have a lot of other projects in the queue that I wish I could share with the listeners.
They're secret.
But no, we work with a lot of people, and
soon enough.
We retain that until it becomes public at the planning commission meeting, which are public meetings.
And even before that, when they apply,
right,
we can technically then let the world know.
But there's several projects in the queue. We're very excited about all of them.
It's funny. This was going to be a 10-minute, 12-minute podcast, something
quick. Did we go over?
We've had so much to talk about.
Yeah.
2021 has come in with a bang. June 15th is this big date now for all of our small businesses. But there are a lot of things that are going on, a lot of activity, whether you're a
this summer's going to be crazy in Tehachapi.
Well, you cannot distract Tehachapi. We cannot be distracted. We continue to work towards that goal of a higher quality of life for all of our friends and family.
I was just driving around an hour ago, right? And it was so busy, There's people that are commuting again. The park and ride is 3/4 full once again. There's people just around town. It's PCT season. There's hikers. I mean, last week I was eating lunch downtown outside, and I mean, the place was packed. The restaurant was packed. It was a Tuesday, and there's PCT hikers everywhere. There's someone playing a ukulele on the deck of Conan's. It was just, it was a great vibe, energy to have it back, and I think this summer is going to be crazy. It's going to continue every weekend this summer here in Tehachapi and elsewhere. People passing through, people staying. I think there's a lot of pent up want to travel and explore things, and I think we're going to be a part of that for a lot of people.
Yeah, and when you mentioned travel, we're doing passports again.
Yeah.
Ashley and her team at the front desk, and you can only by appointment, so you've got to make sure you contact Ashley's team at 822-2200 extension 103. Coordinate a time to get your passport if you want to do some traveling abroad.
Yeah. And
we can help you out with that. It's amazing how much we've had to talk about, but one thing has led to the other, and it's like it's triggered the next thought. And these are the conversations we have all the time. And I think like June 15th, as we kind of spin back to that, which was the original reason why we wanted to do the podcast, it came out of a conversation we had on the podcast.
Yeah.
When we were talking with TCT and we were talking about, hey, you guys need to have a red carpet event and something like this. And we said, well, why don't we have a grand reopening? Why don't we do that for the city? And all of a sudden it was like, well, what did we say?
Something there.
Hey, that might work.
Key, do we need a podcast for June 16?
We might
That
have
way
to. We can recap what
and
happened
June
on the
17th.
15th.
No, seriously, we encourage people to be involved and to really live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
And let us help you in any way that we can.
We'll probably roll around
Yeah.
and get some sound that day too, and get some sound for the podcast on the 15th, and put that on the show afterwards. Talk to some of the business folks that have come in, and to kind of ceremonial, recut the ribbon of their business again without restrictions. So yeah, that'll be fun. We'll definitely do that.
And again, I want to emphasize everyone is invited. Even though this is an event that's taking place in historic downtown Tehachapi, I want everyone to know that everyone is invited. Everyone.
And we'd like to have RSVP if you can, so we make sure we have enough ribbons in place. And you can give me a call at 822-2200, extension 119, and we'll have that listed in the body of the podcast. But if you've got questions about anything we've talked about, Greg and Corey, myself, we're all open to having you reach out to us, and so we can give you the answer if we kind of just glazed over it real quick and you want something more in depth. We're happy to get into it and give you a little bit more of the meat of it. But that's what we're here for, is to provide you information about the things that are going on, this constantly evolving, this wave of activity that's coming forward. And I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to it. And it's nice to see some of the feedback we get. We bump into people that say, hey, I listened to the podcast and I'm learning more. I know I say that every single time. I'm learning more and more about what goes on in our community. And so I appreciate the conversations we have. And we'd love to get your thoughts on future shows.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're not perfect. We're not by any stretch of the imagination. We just want to help. We want to do the right thing. So communicate with us, right? We're trying to communicate out. Please communicate back to us. Let us know.
And you can send us an email, media@tehachapicityhall.com, and we'll make sure that whatever that question is, we'll get it addressed. Guys, you want anything else we want to
I think we've covered a lot, Keith.
There's a lot of information that
I was like,
out.
whoa, what just happened?
That was the longest 15-minute show we've ever done.
Yeah, exactly right. And we ask if you take the time, give us a review. We appreciate that. Follow us. And don't forget our other social media platforms. If you happen to be on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, it's all at City of Tehachapi. You can follow us and stay up to date on everything that's going on right here in this beautiful community. Again, media@tehachapicityhall.com. I'm Key Budge. For Greg Garrett, Corey Costello, we thank you for your time, and we'll catch you on a future episode of Tehachapod.
Tehachapod is a conversation about Tehachapi designed for the people who live here or who would like to know more about this mountaintop community. If you have a question you would like answered, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. We will try to answer it on a future episode of Tehachapod.